Dish Network knows the importance of having a reliable television provider. That's why Dish puts reliability first, with 99% signal reliability anywhere in the country, including rural America. So you can watch your teams, news, and favorite shows without being interrupted, no matter where you live. Get 99% signal reliability with Dish. Call 1-844-CALL-DISH. Visit dish.com or find a retailer near you to sign up today. 99% reliability based on data from set-top boxes.
Welcome to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast.
It's Long Stream Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Fantasy NBA Today weekend, Friday weekend edition. You guys know this time of year. It's long stream time of year. We'll get you set up for the weekend. We'll get you set for rolling into next week when streaming is a little bit more fun. This week has been, well, frankly, annoying. It's been annoying. Unless you have Sadiq Bey, it's been a very annoying week. If you have, say, I don't know, Steph Curry, or now Donovan Mitchell, or any of the sort of, like, intermittent injuries that keeps happening, I loathe the head-to-head playoffs. I'm going to do these shows. I will do them every year around this time, but I want you guys to know I'm kind of doing them begrudgingly, because if I had my druthers, I'd be in 10 roto leagues and nothing else. But instead, I kind of split it down the middle. A couple of different head-to-head leagues, some of them that are a little more volume-based, some that are more traditional 9-cat. I want to be able to talk about this stuff, but I hate it so much. Because like one of my 2 head-to-head playoff teams has Steph and Donovan Mitchell on it. So bye-bye that team. No prayer. None. That same team, by the way, I think that team's going up against, that's the one that's going up against the team with Sadiq Bey. That's so, oh man, that is silly. That is silly. That team is missing Donovan Mitchell, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler. My top 3 picks. That's crazy. I just realized that live on air. That team is down my top 3 picks. Yeah. Okay. Well, that team's dead. And then the other one that's going, well, you know, whatever. That one, I guess, could potentially survive. It's not totally dead in the water. Hanging on by a thread, but that one also had Killian Hayes as a pickup. Bunch of goofs. Bunch of goofs, I say. Whatevs. I really do. I hate head-to-head. Anyway, welcome to the show. We're going to be diving into the long stream over the weekend because, look, here's the thing. The only hope I have in those leagues is to outgame my competition. Even then, it's probably a long shot, but at least you got to give yourself some hope. So, if you guys are caught in any similar boat, don't give up hope. Keep long streaming. Do everything you can. I feel like Rick Moranis after he finds out everybody on his ship is an a-hole. Keep firing you guys know the sequence. I think they dubbed it to morons on TV for a while. Great movie. One of my favorites of all time. So here we go. Yesterday was a relatively big day for streaming, if only because it was kind of Makeup Thursday. Today is not. It's Overload Friday. I said it right at the end of yesterday's podcast. It's not a day that you want to make a move unless you absolutely positively have to. Oh, by the way, sorry. Quick recap on Thursday's card. Detroit-Orlando was the only game. Killian Hayes suffered a possible concussion. Came out after 5 assists through the first quarter. He was actually off to a pretty good start, at least on the passing standpoint. So now Corey Joseph becomes a much more interesting play for tomorrow. But at the same time, again, and I'll get to this in a minute, you kind of have your pick of the litter. Because after today, everybody except those 4 teams I talked about so much has 1 game left. Isaiah Stewart was a little better in this one. He had 16 and 9. Marvin Bagley continued to start with no Jeremy Grant on the board. Maybe he'll be back in the next one. We don't know for sure. It's time. It's knee inflammation, so it's time to start making up stuff to rest your slightly older ball players. Cade Cunningham, he's sick. He's got a cold. He'll play once he's better. It's not a full tank. Detroit's already bad enough. They don't really need to go a step farther. On the Orlando side, Mo Bamba had a decent line, although he only played 22 minutes. Thought he might do more with no Chuma and no Wendell Carter Jr. Just sort of wasn't to be. And there weren't that many great lines, actually, on the Magic side. Franz Wagner had a pretty good one. Mo Wagner was pretty good again. He's actually been decent a couple games in a row. But again, you're not doing this. These guys are not... Franz Wagner you've had on your team, but like Mo Wagner, you're not picking up in any format unless there was the schedule thing, and you missed that already. So, fart sound effect, off we go. None of this stuff is actually all that important for the weekend unless truly these are your best options, in which case you're in a pretty deep league. So probably somebody else better out there, especially with Roto format, at least. Like, you got injured guys coming back. There's all sorts of interesting stuff going on. So that was Thursday. It was largely an uneventful evening, other than Killian Hayes going out mid-ball game. Jalen Suggs, Chuma Okeke, Wendell Carter Jr. At this point, you kind of have to just hold those guys through Saturday. And if they don't play Saturday, you drop them for Sunday. Because the whole point was just to see if you could maximize the off-day games played from whoever you had on your team. And if they don't, well, it sucks. Because you worked so damn hard to try to load up your schedule with some off-day guys, and then they just didn't even get in there. Like, what if you had Jeremy Grant this whole time? Or Cade Cunningham, you're looking at this week like, sweet, I got some good players going on the non-overload days. And then, nothing. Good Lord, I hate head-to-head. But let's talk, he said, while transitioning into long streaming. We're going to look through the weekend. We're going to look towards the beginning of next week as well as you kind of get yourself set up. I mentioned it on yesterday's podcast as part of a very meandering discussion of Friday or Thursday's stream and Friday's stream. But today, Friday, I feel pretty confident in saying the only reason to make a move is, one, if you somehow don't have an overloaded Friday, you could make a pickup today and still get 2 games the rest of the week. So there are a handful of you out there that might have had a crap ton of Pistons and Magic. And so then, if you have like 4 of those guys in a really short bench league, you might have only 9 guys playing tonight, which, by the way, get a deeper bench. That's going to create a very shallow league, short benches like that. But whatever, maybe you have that. That would be a reason to do it. But for the vast majority of you that are overloaded today, you probably don't want to make a move. If you look for it, every day has a cause for celebration. Celebrate a friend, got a promotion, had a baby, got married, life, who cares? Celebrate yourself for keeping the couch warm. It's no easy feat, especially if that's a big couch. Or maybe you just want to celebrate living in 2022, where you can get beer, wine, and spirits delivered from Drizzly in under 60 minutes, 1 hour, without leaving the aforementioned couch. Right now, Drizzly is giving all new customers $5 off their first order with code FAST5. Yeah, it's like the movie franchise, Fast5. So download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com, DRIZLY.com, and use promo code FAST5 for $5 off your first order. Look, it's the most convenient way to get beer, wine, and spirits. 60 minutes! 60 minutes! That's ridiculously fast. I can't do anything in under 60 minutes these days. It's the #1 app for alcohol delivery. It's so convenient. You can shop across different stores. You can choose from a huge selection and get the prices you want, get the best deals, and turn your casual night at home into a much more relaxing casual night at home. I don't know, man. The weather sucks, or nobody wants to go out these days. It's been a weird couple of years. You're cooking. Whatever it is, this is the solution. Drizzly.com or the Drizzly app. DRIZLY. Again, use promo code FAST5. Get $5 off your first order and get beer, wine, and spirits to your doorstep in under 60 minutes.
In the time it takes you to listen to this ad, almost 3 million gallons of water will have flowed over the deck at Niagara Falls. And when that deck needs to be protected from all that water, it's sealed with America's recognized brand in water protection, Thompson's Water Seal. Oh, look, another 100,000 gallons. Weather protected, water sealed. Thompson's Water Seal. Trust the seal. Available at a retailer near you.
However, there are, and this is important, we'll go through them by name. We did it quite a bit yesterday. There are 4 teams that are done with the week after tonight. Brooklyn, Chicago, the Clippers, the Heat. If you have anyone other than a superstar, which, by the way, like, what are you doing with Kyrie Irving in a head-to-head league anyway? If you have anyone other than basically Kevin Durant on the Brooklyn Nets, the Bulls actually have a few. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Nick Vucevic. If you have anyone besides those 3 guys on the Bulls, if you have anyone besides Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo on the Heat, and if you have anyone at all on the Clippers, actually, because their schedule just gets so horrible, you sort of can't roster them after tonight. Does that mean you have to make a move on Saturday? It doesn't, actually. But it does mean you need to make a move on either Saturday or Sunday. Why did I phrase it like that? Because nobody in the NBA plays on both days over the weekend. So there's actually no giant impetus to use your move even on Saturday. Even if you have one of those 4 teams you talked about, Chicago, whatever the hell the 4, Brooklyn, Chicago, Clippers, Heat, I keep repeating myself on that one. Even if you have one of those guys you're planning on dropping, you don't have to do it on Saturday just because they're done. You could even use your move on Saturday to pick up somebody for Sunday. I'm talking about day of move leagues. By the way, if you're in a head-to-head league with moves the day before, get out of it. That's a terrible way to play head-to-head. Especially this time of year with so many late scratches. You want to be able to make last-second lineup adjustments. I'm in one of those. Calling you out, man. Fix it. Like, I couldn't get CJ McCollum back into my lineup because he was in my IL, and then he was ruled in at like 1 in the afternoon from COVID stuff. But I couldn't take him out of IL because I had to drop somebody, and that didn't take effect until the next day. That's dumb, by the way. Roto, fine, whatever. Like, even the Yahoo Pro Leagues have that figured out because they've got their fab budget stuff, which is super annoying in head-to-head. But at least you can drop someone day of and pull someone out of IL. Get out of those leagues. I'll talk about settings. We'll deal with settings as we get closer to next year. I got to pare down the number of leagues I'm in because it's too many things where, spread too thin. So again, the point of all of this is, in fact, I might even recommend hanging on to your move, whatever it is, singular, plural, I don't know how many you have left, 1 left, 2 left, something like that, over the weekend. I would probably recommend hanging on to it until Sunday because, for one, there are 9 games on Sunday, so you got 18 teams to pick a streamer from. And 2, you'll better know what your team needs on Sunday than you will on Saturday. I know Saturday is a pretty short card. Only 4 games on Saturday, so only 8 teams play, which means that the complexion of your week probably won't change a ton. But we don't know that for sure. Because Milwaukee plays on Saturday. They've got some very big names on that team that could, again, kind of change the complexion of the week. Any day can change your week quite a lot. That's the real key here. Any day can have a massive impact. Like, what if we get to Saturday and Giannis gets ruled out late and your opponent has Chris Middleton? Or what if your opponent had Giannis? Or what if you have Giannis? And you were counting on, that big boatload of points and rebounds and field goal percent. You're already losing. Like, what if field goal percent was close? And you're like, well, Giannis is going to get me field goal percent. And then he doesn't. And you used your move on Saturday to shore up, I don't know, steals and assists. And then you realize something that you were counting on just went away. Just plumb vanished. What if that happens? This is why I recommend whatever you have left on your week, save it for Sunday. Save it for Sunday. The streaming options on Saturday aren't that great. Like, what guys are there on those 8 teams on Saturday that you're looking at and you're like, I can't live without this guy. I cannot. I absolutely positively must stream Denny Avdia? Mason Plumlee? Isaac Okoro? No. The streaming options on Sunday are better. Also, as it pertains to long streaming. I forget even, to me, the most important part of this is if your season is continuing, even if it isn't, you got to win this week. That's the main thing here. As much as we love long streaming, winning this week is the thing you got to do. The beauty of next week is that a lot of teams have chunked up games, meaning games that are squished together in a delightful game chunk. It's like a flavor of cookie or ice cream. Game chunk. You can make moves on Sunday that are actually super useful for 7, 8, 9 days. That actually, it all fits better. Let's just take a few examples of this. First of all, again, to me, the most important thing is that on Sunday, you're actually going to know what your team needs. You shouldn't make too many plans for Sunday, by the way, because there are games all throughout the day. There's a couple of games right around lunchtime. There are 3 games in the very early evening. Then there's 4 games in the later evening. No, that's not. 3 games actually kind of in the super late afternoon if you're here on the Pacific Coast. And then you got 4 games that are kind of more early evening. Let's make sure I get my time changes right when I'm talking about it. So, there are games that they start at like 3 different clumps throughout the day. If you're really close in something and the early games tip it in a particular direction, you could dramatically swing what you're looking to do in the later part of the card. I know Portland and Indiana, the first game of the day on Sunday, probably is going to have the best streaming options of anybody on the board because Portland's got all these weird names. Indiana's going to be without Isaiah Jackson, so that shifts more guys into the spotlight. Memphis, it sounds like Ja Morant, he'll probably be back by Sunday, so then that moves some things around with the Grizzlies. Then you've got those middle games. Thunder, is that a team that's going to have some streaming options? Will Sacramento have something? They got a 2-game week next week, so no. What about the late games? Not a ton there. Spurs, maybe. Like Lonnie Walker if you need some points. Josh Richardson if you need a couple threes. Warriors, probably not much, even with Steph out for the rest of the regular season. So yeah, the streaming options are probably better earlier on Sunday. But still, you're going to want to be moving bodies around that day. But forget even for a minute that the most important reason to use your move on Sunday, which again is you will know what stat you need to target Sunday better than you would know what stat you'd need to target on Sunday on Saturday. Pretty simple thing. That's like, hey, how hungry are you going to be at 7:15? If somebody asked you that at 2, you'd be like, I don't know, pretty hungry. And if somebody asked you that at 7:14, you'd be like, I know exactly how hungry I'm going to be in 1 minute. It's always better to use your moves as late as humanly possible if you can, with the exception, of course, this week being Tuesday where you had to switch off of the overload stuff. Forget all of that for a minute. If you had just looked at the schedule and you didn't even know what day of the week March 20th was, let's say you didn't have a calendar, all you knew was that the days were counting, and someone said, what about this day? This is still the best day to use moves for a long stream. And this is why I really like next week for the playoffs a lot in a special way where I completely hated this week. This week was like everything that sucks about the fantasy playoffs. You've got mismatched schedules. You've got injuries. There'll be injuries next week as well. And there's no great way to make up for it. It's too late because nobody goes back-to-back over the weekend. Everybody plays tonight, Friday. Everybody played Wednesday. And the teams you got to pick from on the non-high traffic days, there were only 2 that were really good. Detroit and Orlando. Ugh. This week was clunky. But again, let's pretend you don't have a calendar. You don't know days of the week. All you know is that someone's like, hey, look at the schedule on March 20th and tell me what you think. You'd be like, oh, this is a good day for streaming. Because look what you can do on Sunday. You need 3 games in 4 nights? Great. Atlanta, Boston, Golden State, Houston, I mean, it's going to go on like this, so settle in. New York, Oklahoma City, Orlando, Philadelphia, Portland, Utah. All of those teams have 3 games in 4 nights. Oh, you wanted to stream longer than that? Fine, great. Portland has 5 games in 7 nights starting on Sunday. Houston has 5 games in 7 nights starting on Sunday. You got 2 choices on Sunday of, in my estimation, the best long streaming option available. Because teams don't really go 4 games in 5 nights anymore unless you got a COVID makeup game like Denver had one earlier this year. I think they might have even been the only one. Maybe there was 2. Very, very rarely. But 5 games in 7 pops up every once in a while. It's a 5-game week. It's just a week that starts on Sunday and ends on Saturday instead of Monday through Sunday. So your best streaming options on Sunday are those 2 teams I just mentioned. Houston, should you feel inclined to sort of go the way of the Garrison Matthews or Dennis Schroeder or some backup, even Alperen Sengun, if you think that maybe Christian Wood gets a game or 2 off in there. I'm pretty sure Eric Gordon will get some games off in there. Or Portland, who, I mean, they got streamers coming out the wazoo. Trendon Watford's probably been picked up, but Brandon Williams would be streamable. He hasn't been good, but 5 games in 7 nights would get it done. Drew Eubanks, 5 and 7 would be worthwhile there. Chris Dunn, if he actually is going to play in the back-to-backs, that would be a really interesting 5-game and 7-night stream. Oh, you don't want to go that far? You don't want to have that kind of flexibility? Well, great, because there are a bunch of teams we talked about that have 3 games in 4 nights that also are part of a Sunday-Monday back-to-back. That gives you the flexibility to abandon ship on Tuesday if you wanted to. Utah goes Sunday-Monday. In addition to Portland and Houston, who has to make it a 5-game and 7-night. Philly goes Sunday-Monday. Oklahoma City goes Sunday-Monday. Boston goes Sunday-Monday. So you could go with those teams on Sunday, and if you really didn't like what you were getting out of your streamer, you could move on Tuesday of next week. Oh, right. Starting on Tuesday of next week, the Warriors go 5 games in 7 nights. This thing sets up any number of hundreds of ways that you can long stream starting on Sunday of this week, and it's just glorious. It's all over the board. The options are plentiful. Atlanta, their 3 games in 4 nights actually is sort of a bookend because they have the back-to-back on Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and then they play Friday, and they're off for a couple of days, but you can go 3 and 4 there. Chicago goes 4 games in 6 nights to start the week. You wouldn't want to go to them on Sunday, but that's actually part of a 6-game in 9-day stretch for the Chicago Bulls that rolls all the way through Tuesday of the following week. Talked about the Warriors already. The Rockets in there 5 and 7. There are just a ton of things you can do. The Knicks actually go 5 and 7 starting on Tuesday too. Apologies. The Warriors aren't the only team. The New York Knicks have 5 games in 7 nights starting on Tuesday. I apologize. I missed that one on my first pass when I was writing this stuff down. I just caught it. There are back-to-backs. Someone's playing a back-to-back almost every single stretch of 2 days. Chicago is back-to-back Monday and Tuesday of next week if you ended up making a move first thing. We already talked about the Knicks and the Dubs go Tuesday, Wednesday. Orlando actually goes Tuesday, Wednesday also. Atlanta goes Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, you prefer to have a back-to-back on Wednesday, Thursday? Great. Indiana, Memphis have back-to-back Wednesday, Thursday. So does Phoenix. Thursday, Friday. The Wizards back-to-back Thursday, Friday. I think they're actually the only one, so maybe that's a little bit softer there. Houston and who's the other one that had the 5 and 7? I already forgot. Not the Knicks. Who am I forgetting? Portland. Sorry. Portland. They have the Friday, Saturday back-to-back. They're not alone. Miami actually has a Friday, Saturday back-to-back. All week long, you've got back-to-backs. All week long, you've got 3s and 4s. 3 and 4s, you have a multiple 5s and 7s to pick from, either starting on Sunday or Tuesday of next week. It's a treasure trove, friends, of long streaming options rolling from Sunday of this week basically through the rest of your playoffs if you wanted to go that far. Whatever distance your team needs to travel the rest of the way. You can just sort of extrapolate it. That Washington, by the way, that Washington Thursday, Friday back-to-back next week, that's actually start of a 5-7 for the Wizards that runs from the 24th through the 30th of March. It's everywhere. So the lesson here is there are so many options. You're in such good shape, but you still have to get through this week. So, we come circling all the way back around to the main point, the lone main point of this long streamer guide. Sunday. Use your move or moves. Don't leave anything on the table. On Sunday, use them all up on Sunday. Go for teams probably with a Sunday, Monday back-to-back so you can front load your next week. Which, by the way, I suppose it's worth pointing out, Monday of next week is a 9-game or 2, so you might be looking at an overload, but also probably not. Wednesday of next week is an 11-gamer, so there's a possibility you might run into an overload on Wednesday, but then nothing else is more than 8. Monday's 9, Wednesday's 11, everything else is much more evenly spread. So, next week is, that's our favorite, when teams are playing every other day, or more often, and you just get like a nice chunk of games every single day on the board. Use your move on Sunday, and if at all possible, use it on a team that goes back-to-back Sunday, Monday, that also plays again on Wednesday. Because then you can look if you're overloaded. If you are overloaded on Wednesday with the pickup you just made, you could abandon ship with them on Tuesday and switch over to one of those other teams we mentioned, because they still, some of those, that Tuesday, Wednesday back-to-back stuff, you'll remain overloaded there, but if somebody gets hurt on your team and you need a last-second sub, the overload thing is interesting, because it's almost like, it's actually kind of a good idea to have an 11th player going, because someone on your team's going to sit. That one always does. You don't have to switch off. I guess what I'm saying is you don't have to switch off of them. If you have 11 guys on a 10 startable card, someone's probably going to sit, and then you can flop them in anyway. But, if you're overloaded on Wednesday, you actually have other options there, too. Let's say you picked up, who's an interesting example of this we can use? The Pelicans. They go Sunday, Monday. They don't play again until Thursday after that. But it might be the same for your team as if you had picked up someone that goes Sunday, Monday, Wednesday. Maybe that was an overload day. So that one's kind of a wash. So basically what I'm saying is it doesn't wipe out a team that has 2 days off in between. I still prefer it the other way. The teams that go Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, that's just easier on the soul, because then, if you are overloaded again, you might be able to slot in a guy if someone gets hurt. It allows you the flexibility. Portland, as we talked about already, with their back-to-back Friday, Saturday, that's a wonderful place to be, because then you can make moves on Sunday of next week, the best time to make moves when you know what stats you need. Houston, same thing. And I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but if you look at Sunday of next week, there's actually a handful of teams that go Sunday, Monday, the 27th and 28th. If your league goes that far, it might. I don't know. And most of those teams actually go Sunday, Monday, Wednesday of that following week also. I don't think anybody is a 5-7 starting on Sunday of next week, but there are plenty of 3-4s, so you'd be making probably some moves on Thursday of the week of March 28th. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves now. This is a long, drawn-out discussion to come all the way back to the one main focal point, which is whatever moves you have left, unless you somehow are not overloaded tonight, Friday, because if you're not overloaded tonight, use a move so you can get 2 games out of that. Someone who plays today, tomorrow, or today, Sunday. If you are overloaded today, Friday, save all your moves until Sunday, because the streams are really good starting on Sunday. You've got the 5s and 7s, and you will know what stats you need to try to stay alive in your fantasy playoffs. Monday, we'll have reverse chronological lightning round here on the podcast. You guys know how that goes. Hope you will continue to listen. Remember, we go all off-season long. Also, I know some of you might get eliminated this weekend. That sucks, but please do continue to listen. We're going to be talking basketball. Or you know what? Maybe you take a break while we're still doing the streaming stuff. This is why I want all of you guys to have one Roto League, so you can hang out with me until the very end of the regular season, and then we start to talk about how to prep for the next season. There's no break. If you get eliminated in a head-to-head league this weekend, you're not going to want to hear from me for a while. That's not fun. Next season, I want everybody that listens to this podcast to do one Roto League. I don't care if it's free, $10, $25, $50, whatever it is that gets you interested enough to pay attention. One Roto League next year. Do it for Dano. I promise you will like it. You will like the fact that when you work hard and you do all these things we've talked about all season long, your season doesn't get obliterated by Donovan Mitchell missing a game with a sore calf in a fantasy playoffs. I'm not going to promise you're going to love it, but I am going to promise you're going to think, wow, this is a really fair way to play fantasy sports. Please drop a 5-star review on the podcast if you haven't already. If you already have, please get a family member to do it. It means everything to me, and I will ask you once a day from now until probably the end of the regular season. Want to get to 775? Come on, help me get to 775. Oh, we got there. I just checked in. 778. Okay, well, I got to set a different goal then, I guess. Thanks all. Appreciate you guys. Let's see if we can get to 780. I don't know. Love you guys, man. Thanks for dropping those few this week so far. You're the best. We'll set a new goal. I mean, again, every single one of these is so big for us as we head towards next year. It allows people to find the podcast quickly and easily, and it allows us to grow. Continue to keep adding things here at Sports Ethos as well. Again, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You guys have written some very nice things, and I love you for it. Have a great weekend, everybody. Good luck. Keep your teams alive. Make your moves on Sunday. We will talk to you guys on Monday, where, again, we will do some Roto check-ins. You know, there's still stuff going on over there. Make your runs, man, and don't leave any games on the table. There's your Roto advice for the weekend. Make sure you hit your games cap. It's not easy this year. All right, I'm Dan Vespers, at Dan Vespers on Twitter. Talk to you guys on Monday. So long, everybody.